Why free conversation is often more difficult than public speaking. Hello and welcome to Communication Psychology. My name is Gerhard. I'm a psychologist from Hamburg, Germany, specialized in communication psychology in international, intercultural, and multi-language contexts. Yes, of course, public speaking is the number one fear for many adults. However, free conversations, especially in more difficult situations, are often much more complicated. In the public speaking situations, you have much more control and you can plan better in advance. There's a higher degree of predictability. So you know the topic, you have time to prepare, often weeks ahead, and the roles of everyone involved are more or less clearly defined. So you are the presenter, there's a moderator, perhaps the audience may ask questions depending on the setting, but it's more or less clear who will do what. And you can also plan for the questions that are going to come, because you can interview future audience members. You can ask the organizer about past events. So more or less, you have a high level of predictability and you can rehearse. Now, in a conversation, roles are more or less defined, but the definitions can change during the conversation. So a conversation is typically much more dynamic. You don't plan or budget the time exactly like in a public speaking event. So you don't decide who will talk how many minutes or seconds. And there's a free fluctuation of topics. The discussion can go into any direction, depending on what you or the other person says. Now, very often we don't see the potential in seemingly insignificant conversations. And that's the big takeaway I hope you will get out of this small talk, that we take small talk for granted. At public speaking events, it's something very important. We prepare for it and we expect lots of results. But often the big results, they come from those seemingly insignificant conversations we have informally with other people, or sometimes formally. So my homework for you is take a seemingly insignificant conversation you had today. It can be at work or with your spouse, and make lists. The first list: what could have possibly gone wrong during this conversation? Worst case scenario. So I could have gotten fired. My husband could have filed for divorce. So think about all possible options that could have happened during that conversation, the negative. And then think, what could have triggered such a reaction in the other person? Also, what could you have said or done? Then you think about positive outcomes. What could have come out of this conversation that hasn't come out? And once again, think, what could have triggered this? Now, what could have come positively out of the conversation? It could be, for example, information. The other person could have revealed something important to you. It could be an opinion about yourself or others, a business information you could work upon. Could have been a contact, a shared contact, a job opportunity. It could be feedback for yourself. Sometimes people hold back. We most often hold back. So most of the time we don't tell everything the other person could possibly use. And it's also the question, maybe you are not signaling to the other person that a specific information would be useful to you. So you think about what could have triggered more positive outcomes. Now, if you do this, you start seeing value in seemingly insignificant conversations. And also, the next small exercise: go back in your life, look back, and think about such conversations that at that time didn't mean anything to you, but led to something significant. For example, a new job, or a career change, or maybe your husband or your wife marrying you. So the idea is we need to pressure, price all those small moments. And if you start doing this, then you already invest a bit of time, not only in public speaking, but how can I make sure that I'm becoming better in those seemingly insignificant conversations? After every small conversation, even if it's just for 10 seconds, you make a small debriefing. How did it go? What options did I miss during this conversation? So I wish you much success. Please call me, write me if you want me to give a free presentation on communication psychology for your company, team, organization, or church even. Every week I have one 60-minute slot for international teams. You just contact me and we'll figure something out for the next month. All the best and looking forward to your replies and comments. Bye-bye.